Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with the mighty Jingles. I suppose the news is out now. I'm a confirmed dirty, filthy console peasant. I spent most of the day setting up my new PlayStation 4 Pro. Holy shit, I thought setting up a brand new PC when it comes out of the box was a pain in the arse, but the PlayStation 4 can give it a run for its money. Anyway, I've spent most of the day setting it up and installing various games and stuff, including World of Warships Legends, the beta test. Of course, it's under strict NDA, so I can't even post a screenshot. But anyway, more on my continuing adventures as a console peasant in next week's Mingles with Jingles. For now, well, we're actually still mostly on topic. It is World Warships, but the proper PC Master Race version, of course. Now, as you can see by the size of the teams, this is a ranked battle, but, well, this is Tier 5 ranked sprint. And so, of course, all of the usual suspects have been trotted out in order to compete at Tier 5 in ranked. We've got lots and lots of October Revolutions, Okhotniks, Julio Cesares, and of course, the Kamikaze R, the overpowered premium Tier 5 Japanese destroyer of choice, as played by Normski here. Not seeing a huge amount of cruisers in Tier 5 ranked, are we? In fact, both teams only have one. I think each team have a Kirov. And there's probably a good reason for that, because Tier 5 cruisers have an alarming tendency to explode when they get shot at. The Omaha, a prime example of course, but, well, none of the Tier 5 cruisers are particularly resistant to armour-piercing ammunition, are they? They've all got rather large citadels that tend to explode violently when they get penetrated. So, no big surprise to see only one cruiser on each team. Both teams have one Okhotnik, the premium Tier 5 Soviet destroyer, that's about twice the length of a Kamikaze R and is built almost entirely out of guns and torpedoes. There's the Julio Cesare on the enemy team at least, the Tier 5 premium Italian battleship that just doesn't give a shit and performs just as well at Tier 5 as it does at Tier 7. And of course the premium Tier 5 Soviet battleship, the October Revolution, which is as tough as old boots and made out of guns. So these are all pretty good Tier 5 premium warships, and it's no real surprise to see people using a lot of them in Tier 5 ranked sprint. What you tend not to see too many of, because they're not quite so easy to get your hands on anymore, although I'll guarantee you if anybody has one, they're going to be using it in Tier 5 ranked, is this thing, the Kamikaze R. It does take something special to stand out as being particularly overpowered in a game mode that's seen a lot of October Revolutions, Julio Cesares and Okhotniks, but I think the Kamikaze R can probably lay a fairly good claim to that title. What makes this thing so special is that it is basically what the Kamikaze used to be. On paper there isn't actually that much of a difference between the current Kamikaze as it exists in the tech tree and the Kamikaze here, but the differences, while small, are significant, and it's mostly down to the torpedoes. See, both ships have torpedoes with a 7-kilometer range. Both ships can stealth torpedo. But while the Kamikaze's torpedoes proceed at a leisurely 57 knots and do around about 10,000 maximum damage per hit, the Kamikaze's torpedoes have a speed of 68 knots and do over 14,000 damage per hit. Now, full disclosure, the Kamikaze does have the edge in speed with a top speed of 39 knots compared to the Kamikaze's 37.5. And while the guns on both ships are pretty terrible, fairly typical of Japanese destroyers, they are slightly better on the Kamikaze R, because they turn around about 15% faster. They're still bloody slow, and you don't want to be getting into a gunfight with, well, any other destroyer that isn't Japanese, but they are better than on the Kamikaze. Now, this particular Tier 5 ranked battle, as submitted by Normski here in the Kamikaze R, is going to be a little frustrating at first. Mostly because he's trying to attack an enemy Congo player who actually appears to know what he's doing. Also, his team are going to be pretty much on the back foot for most of this game, with the enemy team dominating most of the caps and getting at least the early kills. One of Normski's Congos has already gone to Davy Jones's locker, taken out by one of the enemy Congos. In fact, it's going to be quite a while before Normski actually does any damage in this game. Again, full disclosure, we're not looking at hundreds and hundreds of thousands of damage done and multiple kills in this particular replay. That's just not what it's about. And it's mostly going to be down to that Congo over there, who has mastered the arcane art of actually pressing the A and D key every now and then to turn the ship from side to side, as well as adjusting the throttle to make himself a very difficult torpedo target. Now, he is of course aware that there's at least one enemy destroyer over here. Somebody captured A. And there's a very suspicious looking Okhotnik-sized smokescreen, or there was. Now obviously the Okhotnik pretty much has to take advantage of smoke and concealment in order to have a prayer of landing a torpedo or anything. Because while it does have a lot of torpedoes, they only have a 4.5 kilometer range. Unfortunately for Normsky here, almost every torpedo that the Okhotnik has fired hasn't had the range to actually reach any of the targets that he's firing them at, but have managed to get just close enough to alert the targets to the fact that there are torpedoes in the water and therefore keep an eye open for enemy destroyers. So Normsky has been forced to get perilously close to that enemy Congo in order to at least give him a better chance that his extremely fast 68 knot torpedoes are going to have a chance of hitting the Congo before he has a time to react and change course. And it's not working out too well for young Normsky here. This Congo is pulling out every trick in the book. He's just launched his catapult fighter. So he saw the torpedoes, and even these torpedoes, which were launched from about as close as you want to get, are also all going to miss the target. That's dashed unsporting of the Congo player. Doesn't he realise he's in a battleship? He's supposed to sail in straight lines and make it easy for the destroyers. But he's doing anything but. Meanwhile, things are going from not very good to actually starting to look pretty bad as they lose one of their destroyers to go with the battleship that was sunk earlier. And still, Normsky hasn't inflicted a single point of damage on the enemy team. Although I'm reasonably sure he's going to be able to sink that Kirov if he continues to sail in a straight line. Which is kind of amusing because Normsky is of course spotted, so the Kirov knows that there's a kamikaze lurking on the other side of this island. And it's kind of ironic because the Congo has been doing anything but sailing in a straight line, and the cruiser is in fact the one who falls for the oldest trick in the book. So Normsky's managed to actually get his name on the scoreboard at last, and he's levelled the kills, if not the scores. Now, Normsky's sailing skills have been a bit of a mixed bag up until now. I mean, he's managed to blunder into detection range again, which means that these torpedoes are almost certainly going to miss. Of slightly more consequence is the fact that he just took a bit of a paddling from the Congo and shaved off almost half of his health. And if he's not careful, he's going to get caught in a New York Congo sandwich. However, earlier he did pull off a fairly impressive move and avoided taking a paddling right through the bows with some 14-inch armour-piercing shells fired by the Congo over there by using not only his rudder but also his throttle, pulling his ship almost to a complete stop and ensuring that a 14-inch armour-piercing salvo fired by the Congo actually fell significantly short. Despite that, which was quite impressive to watch, he does continue to make some questionable judgment calls as he fires this torpedo salvo at the Congo, and if even one of those hits, he's probably going to sink him. He picks this moment to fire his guns, which of course makes him visible, and the Congo instantly slams on the brakes and starts turning, which means that those torpedoes are almost certainly going to miss as well. I mean, it's possible, perhaps even likely, that the Congo was about to execute a turn anyway because, well, judging by his performance so far, he's nobody's fool. He knows there's a destroyer stalking him, but then again, maybe he wouldn't. And if he hadn't, one of those torpedoes would certainly have sunk him, but we'll never know because Normsky did fire his guns, he did get spotted, and the Congo did turn. However, while the Congo is a very powerful and very fast Tier 5 battleship, it doesn't hold its speed particularly well when it's pulling hard manoeuvres, particularly if the captain of the Congo is adjusting his throttle as well in order to guarantee that he doesn't run into any torpedoes. And now that he has an October Revolution closing in on the other side of the island, Normsky really only has to worry about the Congo's secondaries. You see, we have a bit of a good news, bad news situation here. The Congo has just fired on and sunk the October Revolution. However, while these torpedoes are almost certainly going to land, The Congo captain is running Adrenaline Rush, which reduces the reload of his main battery guns when he's very low on health. And he was very low on health, which meant he was able to get those guns reloaded, and he was able to get the turrets turned around. And just before Normski was able to sink him, he's reduced Normski to 54 health. So the Congo did play very well. He very nearly killed both Normski and that October Revolution. Matters aren't improved by the fact that the only other surviving ship on Normski's team is a Kirov, the Tier 5 cruiser. And as we all know, Tier 5 cruisers are made out of citadels. Now, while ordinarily I wouldn't really fancy a Kirov's chances against 2 battleships and a destroyer, he is actually putting up a pretty good fight. In fact, he's about to sink. You can see him over there, engaged in a duel with that October Revolution, but he's about to actually sink him. Which is no mean feat for a Tier 5 cruiser, so well done to that guy. Normski, thinking about firing his guns at the Acasta. You really don't want to do that, not when you have 54 health, because if you don't kill him with the first salvo, and oh, he's strayed within surface detection range yet again, so he absolutely has to use his smokescreen here. Meanwhile, our hero in the Kirov, you can just see his health bar up there to the right-hand side of the screen. Put up a good fight against the October Revolution, but he's now within about 3 kilometers of a New York, and I suspect, well, he's managed to get his torpedoes away. But, well, say it with me, folks, Tier 5 cruisers are made out of citadels. And, yeah, no, I don't think so. I really don't think so. He's missed with the torpedoes, and sure enough, the Kirov is dead. He did his best, but, well, that was fairly inevitable. And Normski, on 54 health, is now the last surviving member of his team. They're behind on points, they're behind on caps, and they're behind on kills. So, no pressure, Normski. I mean, you know, we're being completely fair here. You did make a few mistakes, but if you make even one from here on in, you're dead and your team have lost. So, like I said, no pressure. So what do we have going for us here? Well, 5.4 kilometer surface detection range, and torpedoes that have a 7 kilometer range, so we can stealth torp. We can also hope that that Congo was the only member of the enemy team playing a battleship who actually knew how to use his rudder every now and then, because that New York still has an awful lot of health. The Acasta is going to be a serious problem. Although with a 5.4 kilometer surface detection range, Normski should see the Acasta before the Acasta sees him. But it's not going to leave him an awful lot of opportunity to adjust course and get out of there before the Acasta spots him and is able to actually start shooting at him. Well, would you look at that? Hooray! We're at Tier 5 and it took us this long to find a battleship player who continues to sail in straight lines without adjusting his course or speed when he knows there's an enemy destroyer about. I knew there had to be at least one of them out there. Thank God he was on the enemy team. Well, if we're being completely fair, judging by the number of surviving battleships on Normski's team, there were more than likely a few of them on the green team as well. But anyway, still behind on points. Ridiculously far behind on points. The enemy team have just controlled 2 caps for far too long, while the number of kills are now even. There is absolutely no way Normski is going to win this game on points unless he can take at least 2 caps and hold them against an Acasta destroyer. And he only has 54 health. So what's that Acasta likely to be doing? You've got to try to put yourself in the mind of the enemy player. There are 2 things that that guy is likely to be doing at this point. He's either heading south in order to flip Alpha, or he's coming this way at high speed, because, let's face it, if he gets into a gunfight with a Kamikaze, he is going to win. Normski, likewise, has 2 choices. He can either sneak around the map trying to find that Acasta without giving his position away, or he can try to flip as many caps as he possibly can in order to put the pressure on the Acasta and force him to come looking for him. So Normski should, because he has the superior stealth, get the first shot off, but it had better be a torpedo shot, because if you can't take him out with your 4 120mm guns with the first salvo, he's going to kill you because you only have 54 health. And sure enough, judging by the state of the caps, the Acasta did head south in order to flip Alpha. So the Acasta knows where Normski is, but Normski now also knows where the Acasta is. The question is, how confident is Normski feeling about being able to take out a destroyer with a torpedo shot? Because he doesn't have that much of a stealth advantage over the Acasta, especially if the Acasta is running a 10-point captain with concealment expert, and for safety's sake you have to assume he is. Plus they're also likely to be charging towards each other at full speed right now, which means that he will probably see the Acasta first, but he's not going to have an awful lot of time to react and change course. He is covering his bets, despite the fact that the Acasta now knows that Normski is in Bravo and flipping it, by firing his torpedoes down the likely avenues of approach that the Acasta is going to be taking. But let's not forget, this is a British destroyer. It has hydroacoustic search, and while it has a short range, it has an extremely long duration, which makes British destroyers incredibly difficult to torpedo. Hang on a minute. Where the hell did the Acasta go? How the hell was Normski able to flip Bravo uncontested? What's the Acasta afraid of? Acasta, you're a British destroyer, you have hydroacoustic search. It's highly unlikely that you're going to fall victim to a torpedo strike. You have the health advantage. And your guns are significantly better than a Kamikaze. And he only has 54 health, you only have to hit him once to sink him. The Acasta's high explosive shells are very, very good. They can definitely do 54 damage. What the hell is the Acasta playing at? I have absolutely no idea. I'm done. I can't figure it out. Normski's managed to flip Charlie and Bravo, and now he's heading for Alpha. Well, we'll find out soon enough whether or not the Acasta is still lurking in there, due to whether or not this cap is contested when Normski enters it. Normski is actually going to be able to win on points if that Acasta continues to hide. Okay, he broadcast his location to the Acasta when he flipped Charlie. He broadcast his location to the Acasta when he flipped Bravo. And now he's broadcasting his location to the Acasta as he's flipping Alpha uncontested. I don't understand what's happening. What the hell am I watching? Why is the Acasta allowing this to happen? Why is he not stomping Normski's mangled wreckage into the depths of the ocean right now? How much more of an invitation does he need? Normski's actually done it. He's actually managed to flip all three of the caps. Hell, even if the Acasta didn't want to get into a straight-up gunfight, he could be flipping those caps back over, because while he doesn't have Normski's precise location, he's got his approximate location because Normski's capping. I have no explanation for what we're watching right now. I cannot even begin to figure this out. If you have any ideas that might explain what the hell that Acasta is doing, by all means let me know in the comments, because I've got nothing. Oh wait, no, I have one possible solution, one possible explanation. Maybe on those islands over to the west or the east, well away from any of the cap circles, maybe there's a really big pot of glue. And the Acasta is parked up next to one of those islands, having himself a really good sniff. How does that Acasta think he's going to win now? I mean, it seemed fairly straightforward, just find and sink the Kamikaze. He was broadcasting his location by flipping caps and only has 54 health left. The enemy team only needed 8 more points to win when Normski flipped all of the caps on them. And it's only now, 8 points short of a win, that the Acasta reveals his hand. He's up there in Charlie, flipping it, because he thinks that he can do it quickly enough before Normski manages to turn what was a 300-point deficit into a 1,000-point victory. Unfortunately, he's wrong, because he spent too long sniffing glue at the corners of the map, and if he'd done this 30 seconds earlier, but he didn't. I don't think Normski really deserved to win that one. But he did, so we'll take it. But I think the real credit for that ridiculous victory goes to the British Tier 5 destroyer on the enemy team. 54 health, 300 points behind, 2 caps behind, outnumbered 2-1, still somehow manages to win. Normski. Can I have your enemies next time I play? Except for the Congo. He was pretty good. He can be on my team. Anyway, on that bombshell, that's it for today. I hope you were entertained. And as always, take care. And I'll catch you next time.